Right, welcome to the August 20th, 2025 Environmental Quality Commission meeting. This is an in-person meeting and virtual meeting with the Environmental Quality Commission members, city staff, and members of the public. I just want to mention that we're holding the meeting tonight in wonderful Bellhaven community, District 1 of Menlo Park, and we're also in the Bellhaven Community Campus. It's an amazing building. It's a net zero all electric building. Just another example of the city showing leadership on decarbonization. So we're happy to be here. Now I would like to introduce staff and EQC members present in the room. We have myself, Chair McKenna, Vice Chair Meyer, Commissioners Angel, Hill, and Hernandez. Commissioner Kissel is joining virtually using provisions from Assembly Bill 2449. Commissioner Kissel, could you please provide a general description of the circumstances for participating remotely through AB 2449 Just Cause?
Can you unmute yourself?
Are sick at home with a sore throat.
Okay, thank you. Hope you feel better soon. Staff present is Sustainability Manager Rachel Launder and Management Analyst 2, Liz Tapia. Ms. Launder, would you please provide instructions to the Commission and members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
Sure, thank you, Chair. This evening I'll share some instructions for public comment. We did bring our public comment cards over. They're on that table over there. And you can fill them out and hand them to me or Liz at any point during the meeting. If you're joining online, you can hit the raise hand button, which is either at the bottom of your screen or to the right of your name, depending on your device. And we'll be able to unmute you for you to make your public comment. And you should be able to provide public comment for up to 3 minutes on either items not on the agenda or on agenda items as they come up. And then if you're calling in from a phone, you can press *9 and we can unmute you there. So I'll leave it there and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Launder. Moving on to agenda item C, public comment. Under public comment, the public may address the Commission on any subject not listed on the agenda. Each speaker may address the Commission once under public comment for a limit of 3 minutes. While you are not required to provide your name or city of residence, it is helpful. The Commission cannot act on items not listed on the agenda, and therefore the Commission cannot respond to non-agenda issues brought up under public comment, other than to provide general information. Sustainability Manager Launder, please call for public comment.
Sure. If you'd like to make public comment on an item not on the agenda, we have public comment cards in the room on that table. If you're online, you can hit the raise hand button, or if you're calling in, you can press *9. I don't see any cards in the room. I don't see any hands online. So we can close public comment for items not on the agenda and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Great, thank you. I will move on to item D, regular business. Item D1 is to approve the July 16th, 2025 Environmental Quality Commission meeting minutes. Are there any clarifying questions from the EQC before we take public comment? Seeing none, Ms. Launder, do we have any public comment on this item?
Sure, we open up public comment for item D1, approve the July 16th, 2025 Environmental Quality Commission meeting minutes. If you're in the room, you can grab a public comment card. If you're online, you can hit the raise hand button. If you're calling in by phone, you can press *9. Don't see any hands online or cards in the room, so we can close public comment for item D1 and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you. I can open it up for EQC discussion and or a motion. I do have one correction. I thought on the VMT presentation, it said that I made the presentation. I wanted to make sure that Commissioner Headley was noted as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so if someone would like to make a motion, we can include that in the motion. Do you have what agenda item number that was?
Yes,
Do you remember?
it is item D2. So I can make a motion that to approve the minutes with that correction and adding Chair Headley as a presenter do the VMT presentation.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Chair McKenna and a second by Vice Chair Meyer to approve the July 16, 2025 Environmental Quality Commission meeting minutes. Amended to add Commissioner Headley as presenter on agenda item D2. Okay, and since we have a commissioner online, we'll do roll call voting for this item, and we'll just go around the room. So Commissioner Hill?
Aye.
Commissioner Angela? Aye. Commissioner Hernandez?
Aye.
And Commissioner Kissel?
Aye.
The motion passes with. There's 6 in favor, 0 opposed and 1 absent.
Okay, great. We will now move on to agenda item D2. Approve the fiscal year 2025-2026 agenda calendar and work plan. So isn't a lot to present here. The work plan ad hoc subcommittee collaborated with staff to sort of take the input from our last meeting and populate the calendar with agenda items and subcommittees. So hopefully you've all had a chance to take a look at that. And we've captured, I think, the majority of what the commission suggested as priorities for next year on topics and subcommittees. And in looking at the plan, I just want to make sure that we get input from everybody on what's in the plan. Want to make sure that the subcommittees, the scope of work captures what the intentions are for that subcommittee. And just making sure the names that we came up with for the subcommittees are acceptable. And I think we're also going to find out who's interested in joining the subcommittees at this meeting, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
that'll be a great outcome.
Yeah. So I think I'll leave it at that as the presentation, and then we can take clarifying questions and then public comment and then a discussion.
Sure, can I add to the presentation?
What's that?
Can I add to your presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay, since the agenda was published, there was a new development to add to the work plan goals. This came from the Complete Streets Commission, and we worked with the city clerk on this language. But a goal to have the EQC participate in an ad hoc subcommittee of the Complete Streets Commission to work on that cap metric of the 25% reduction in BMT. So if you all want to kind of dive into this language during the discussion, that would be most welcome, and determine ultimately if you want to keep this in the EQC's work plan or not.
That's great. Exciting.
And it's to work for 1 year?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a long subcommittee.
Yes, yeah, so like city council would have to approve that term.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Lunder. Are there any clarifying questions on the presentation from commissioners? Okay, seeing none. Is there any public comment on this item, Ms. Lunder?
Yeah, let me open up public comment. If you are in the room and you'd like to make public comment on item D2, approve the fiscal year 2025-2026 agenda calendar and work plan for the EQC. We have public comment cards over there. You can fill one out and return it to Liz or myself. If you're calling in, you can press *9, and if you're joining via Zoom, you can press the raise hand button and we will be able to unmute you. Just give folks a second for the public comment cards and to raise their hand. Okay, I don't have any cards in the room or hands raised, so we can close public comment on item D2 and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Great, so I'll open it up to discussion with the EQC commissioners to provide input and thoughts, questions, suggestions. Commissioner Hill, you want to say something?
trying to decide which question to ask first. How would Nancy ask? Let's discuss a little bit about the ad hoc subcommittee with the Complete Streets Commission. So first off, would you recapitulate the process by which it's on our work plan goals? Has that traveled through the city council?
Yeah, so when
Okay.
the city council receives the work plan and approves the work plan, they're only receiving this first page. And so we want to make sure that it's on this first page so they can approve it. The calendar that we maintain and the list of subcommittees we maintain is for, you know, our own planning and organization, but the council doesn't receive it. So we want to certainly bring the transportation or the Complete Streets ad hoc subcommittee down into our own planning document, but we want to keep it up top for council.
So do we want to?
Exactly. that's the
That,
question.
yeah, so, okay, got it. And,
Yeah, I don't wanna assume.
So where did the, number 9, the language come from? And so it hasn't cycled through the city council yet.
No.
It was communicated to you from Complete Streets?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
alright, just trying to get my head around this.
yeah. This was communicated to the city clerk by Complete Streets, city clerk, Complete Streets liaison, and I met. To develop this language to meet kind of the Brown Act requirements, the city council requirements, and the goals of the Complete Streets Commission.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I guess I can just add that, after our last meeting, I had a couple meetings with Vice Chair Cole. We had some really productive conversations around how our commissions can work together and not duplicate efforts, not step on toes. We consulted with, Council Vice Mayor Nash. I think it's great that this is being introduced and, I'm definitely supportive and, yeah, would love to hear what other commissioners have to think.
Okay, just to finish my thought, okay, so then, so you're supportive, so that makes me feel supportive, this is great. So I would just quibble a little bit with, the red text on our work goals would need to be reformulated as goals. And then the ad hoc subcommittee bit sort of drop down into our stuff, so we can reduce the red language down to a goal for us.
I think
And add
so.
the subcommittee.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that would work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify, so would then strategy number 4 be completely removed from the work plans of the separate commissions and only worked on by this subcommittee? Or would they be working and then reporting back and conferring? And I just kind of see like potential for extra work or extra
Mhm.
Number 4,
communication.
I'm sorry,
Oh, as part of number 9, the goal
Right.
number 9.
right. okay.
So it's referring to evaluate,
Have strategy. number-
Yeah, not-
okay, thank you.
yeah, cap strategy number 4. I guess I'm just kind of curious about that, like, is that going to then just only be addressed by this subcommittee?
I think number 4 is pretty, I mean, the entire cap is sort of pretty plainly sort of dropped on our desk, so.
Right, but supposedly also on the Complete Streets desk, which was where we had the. So that was my question, is this to alleviate that and just remove it into this
Is,
new
I just
place?
kind of see
okay, is there
that-
necessarily a problem with it being on 2? I say the more working on it, the better.
No, I know, it's just, yeah, just a question.
I think the climate action plan was developed with that strategy number 4 being a collaborative thing with EQC and Complete Streets, and I think this is kind of a helpful way to sort of get those 2 commissions working together. And you know, as I was looking at the subcommittees we have for the next year, I didn't see a lot around transportation, so I'm excited to see something that is around transportation so that we can make sure we're not sort of missing out on the opportunities of any of our strategies in the climate action plan. I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it was always sort of a collaborative sort of strategy.
Right, so this just sets up a mechanism to collaborate.
Yeah, that's where I see it.
Yeah, and it is really defined on figuring out the 25% metric, so retooling that, looking at if that's the same metric we want to use, if is there another data source we'd like to pull from. I know the Complete Streets Commission was interesting coming up with interim goals, so not just having like a 2030 goal, but looking at, 26, 27, 28, 29, 2030. So this one's really focused on the metric. Not so much like reviewing
bigger-
infrastructure or education and outreach.
So if we added a subcommittee, we might name it such thing as the VHT metric subcommittee.
Yeah, as I have it in here, it's just the Complete Streets. Commission ad hoc subcommittee, but it could be fleshed out better.
Yeah, we might rethink that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Complete Streets Commission, BOT metrics, ad hoc subcommittee.
I would offer it's the BMT ad hoc subcommittee. And then in parens, with Complete Streets Commission.
Joint with.
Hmm?
Joint with complete.
Joint, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
You wanna say vehicle miles traveled metric? Or is?
Oh, yeah,
Is it a
metric.
broader subject than just the metric?
It's really the metric. For this first exercise,
Mhm.
That is great, because that metric really did need some digging.
yeah, some understanding.
We're looking at the metric because BMT was being questioned by people, right? Like BMT asked the metric.
The numbers were very confusing.
Yeah,
And in addition, the metric seems really unattainable.
The
Or maybe it
target?
is attainable, yeah. It's.
like the 25% reduction, that part of it, no. Okay, I'm just trying to get clarification on like. Like what metric they'd be looking at, like just the. Change the 25% reduction to something else, or, change it from BMT to something else,
Yeah, both will be on the table.
okay.
Yeah, and the deliverable would be a report out to the Complete Streets Commission and they would ultimately. Make a decision on it.
I think it's, DMT might be the right metric.
It might be.
We need to study it because the numbers that we looked at from Caltrans showed we already met our goal. And I think we all understand we probably haven't, so we wanna make sure we're using the right metric, numbers are defensible and. Yeah, again, BMT might be the right metric, but maybe there's something else that is a better gauge of progress and making sure that we're having a realistic goal, it's achievable. Yeah,
And I think my understanding of the Complete Streets Commission is that among a few areas of emphasis, one is to look at the streets as being complete and not just cars, and so therefore bicycle-ish wheeled. And so therefore, something about reducing vehicle miles traveled, something about increasing the amount of bicycles. And I would say that our perspective is a different slice on that we need to also maintain. And our perspective is that we need to reduce the carbon emissions of transportation in the city. Which is, Complete Streets is a huge piece, but there are other pieces. So if there were electrifying the city shuttles, or if there were reconfiguring how the stoplights are, I mean, I don't know what it may be. So we have kind of a broader thing, and I'm just wondering ultimately where the ownership of what the metrics will be, ultimately where that lies. Cause I think it's in the cap, and the authorship of the cap lies with us. So I'm not 100% sure.
I think the other strategies, like if you're talking about electrifying shuttle buses, that's Cat 5. If you're talking about more EVs, that's 2 or 3. So I think BMT is just one of the tools or strategies we have to reduce emissions from transportation. We just want to make sure that particular strategy is, being looked at properly.
Okay, so I see. So if we are to focus in then on vehicle miles traveled actually being the goal of that strategy, then it is about complete streets and getting more biking going.
Mhm.
Because unless we put everybody on Caltrain and buses, that's the way it's happening. Okay. Thank you for helping me understand.
Sure. But it's something. So. I think, well, do we all sort of agree that's a good subcommittee to have and collaborate with CSC? Okay. So-
I'm not sure, okay, I'm being so prickly about this, but a full year of one of our resources being on a subcommittee that they limits their amount of subcommittiness within this commission might be too long. So a year is nice and round, but I'm wondering if we should look at 6 months and then reassess. Is that not in line, but you're far more familiar with the work envisioned?
I don't recall having a specific conversation about the length of our collaboration. I don't have an issue with the year. I think, just the work just sort of gets spread out. It's not as concentrated, but, I think, we're all sort of working on other things or multiple things at any one time, so. I don't know, I feel like if we were to change this, we'd have to kind of go back to, staff and then CSC and, I don't know if that back and forth sort of is productive or not, or if we just say, this is good and we can work with it.
Did we say up to 1 year, just to make it flexible?
Yeah,
And then
But we do have trouble finding people to sit in seats on our ad hoc subcommittees, and so one person being dedicated the whole year seems tough.
Mhm.
And it could be up to 3 people, because it said it was,
Good point. How many people? Yeah. So it does cut in on our capacity to do what we need to do.
yeah, and it's also, there's up to 3 commissioners from CSC, so there's more sort of person power. So maybe each individual's effort isn't as intense as it would be for a strictly EQC subcommittee on a 2 to 3 month timeframe. But-
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Could be.
and I think there's a lot to be this allows us to sort of sort out. What's the schedule of this subcommittee getting together and ultimately what's the workload, and that can all sort of be managed as that subcommittee goes. Based on, the bandwidth of its members.
I wonder if in theory there could be a rotation of committee members, or if that's allowed.
I think,
that'll be a Brown Act.
Okay.
it would.
I think that could be something that's discussed with the Complete Street Commission once the subcommittee forms, like, thinking how that committee does their work
Mhm.
would be up to them. So if they wanna do it in 1 month, that would be fine. If they wanna take the whole year and spread it out, that would be fine. But I think the limit of up to 1 year was just based on like the rules for subcommittees and how long. So we were giving like the maximum amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And I do think the Complete Streets Commission has a harder time kind of with capacity as well, so.
And just a little context, a couple of years ago, our subcommittees were just ongoing, like, they just never shut down, so. I forget the reason, but we decided that, I think there was some legal reasons that we had to sort of put a time frame on them. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see that a committee could actually work up to a year together. I think that can be productive.
But it is just the one metric. I mean, not to belittle it, it's important, but
Yeah, it's a pretty,
but
Narrow.
regardless of if we never touch the metric, if we all just said, fine, VMT's imperfect and let's just leave it be because we got others. With the programs that the Complete Streets in particular is gonna won't change it a bit, and they'll just keep, doing the good work, as will we. And so it is, again, a frustrating metric. But if we never touched it, we would do the same work.
Well, I guess we could just sort of table this for now and look at how our other subcommittees get populated and then. Sort of measure everyone's bandwidth at that point and talk more about that subcommittee.
Did you want me to show the subcommittees?
Yeah, but like, other commissioners have other thoughts? Do we want to jump into subcommittees now? Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, so the first subcommittee. If you want me to read through them, okay.
Sure.
The community engagement ad hoc subcommittee, the scope to research potential engagement with a comprehensive set of stakeholders. With the purpose of aligning city community-wide efforts to achieve CAP goals. Duration 3 months, Commissioner Kissel and Chair McKenna. Have raised their hand for this one. And I should have put in here when these report out, but we did put in the calendar.
January.
Okay, that one's January.
Can I suggest a change to the scope?
Yes,
It's not really a change, well, it's an addition, so. Have it read, research potential engagement. And creation of a community task force
okay.
with. A comprehensive set of stakeholders, is that allowable?
I just want to hear a little more about the task force. Would that be like a task force that the EQC would? Shepherd, or is it like scoping the potential for a task force that
Yes,
then staff shepherd it?
I think it's exploring the potential of a community task force and. Understanding who would be in that task, involved in that task force. Who would sort of manage that task force? Is it a city-led, a city staff-led thing? Is it an EQC-led thing? Is it an outside third party? It's really just trying to understand the potential of that sort of task force and how it would be comprised, who would manage it, what the goals are exactly, and ultimately, is it something that we think would effectively help us accelerate progress towards achieving our CAP goals?
Okay, that's helpful. Does this sound good? Explore potential of a community task force?
Yes, I'm good with that, yeah.
I love this. I've been getting a lot of push in a totally different part of my life on the word stakeholders. And it might be worth just saying who we're talking about. Community members, business owners, the city. That's me spitballing. I don't know what the
Well-
stakeholders are.
I think, I like stakeholders just because it's flexible enough to, because I think that's part of the process is figuring out who are the stakeholders. And it's probably a lot of the
Ah,
individuals and communities that you mentioned,
right.
but I feel like this subcommittee would be tasked with figuring out who, making sure it's a comprehensive set and naming them.
Oh, good. So defining affected parties.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And influential parties and
Oh, yeah.
decision makers and power brokers, you name it.
That's you.
I'd love to add myself to that subcommittee, so there's one more spot,
Okay,
no one else wants to. Cool.
Oh, now that I'm sharing, I'm realizing we're not showing. Commissioner Kissel. Did you have anything to add to this one?
No, I agree with what John said.
And you are signed up for it.
Correct.
Rachel, you have January 2025.
Oh, gosh.
So
Thank
I'm-
you.
I'm gonna
Okay,
just,
hard to do.
I'm glad that work's already done.
Okay. The next one is the BASO ordinance. And I'm just looking to see when that one is going to
It's May, I think.
May. 2026. So this one's to research adoption of building emissions reduction ordinance similar to Berkeley and how the city can collaborate with state and regional partners to implement a building performance standard, which would impact commercial buildings from what we learned in last year's presentation.
I have a suggested change to the scope.
Okay,
So, where it says implement, I was thinking it might be better to say. Study, adopt, implement, and enforce.
too small, it's pretty small. Let's see. Yeah. Visible.
Yeah.
Anyone else interested in?
Maybe, let's go through them all and
Okay.
then,
Great. The next was the emissions reduction impact study ad hoc subcommittee. Review biannual greenhouse gas emissions inventory and identify opportunities for sharing data with a community facing dashboard. Duration of 3 months, with Commissioners Kissel and Commissioner Hill already signed up there. Our next one is the food systems ad hoc subcommittee. Research ways to engage community and provide more services to community members with the goal of promoting more plant-based eating, greater access to high quality and affordable foods, and reduction of food waste for a duration of 3 months with Commissioner Hernandez and Commissioner Angel.
That's
10,
fine.
yes,
Can we put the dates up there? So,
oh, yeah,
cause that might impact how people are interested.
That one was
The emissions reductions is November this
okay,
year,
thank you.
and food is
March, I think.
March.
With the matching rebates ad hoc subcommittee, research viability and impact of city matching electrification rebates currently offered by Peninsula Clean Energy in order to assist with transition to electric devices, particularly water heater rebates in light of pending air district rules scheduled to go into effect in 2027. With a 1 month duration,
September.
reporting out in tentatively in September 2020. 2025. Oh, next month. Chair McKenna on that item. And then the vehicle miles traveled metric ad hoc subcommittee, joint with Complete Streets Commission. Form an ad hoc subcommittee of the Complete Streets Commission comprised of both Complete Streets and Environmental Quality Commissioners to evaluate metrics to measure climate action plan progress on strategy number 4 to reduce vehicle miles traveled or VMT by 25% or an amount recommended by the Complete Streets Commission and set specific long-term and annual goals. The subcommittee shall consist of no more than 3 EQC commissioners and no more than 3 CSC commissioners, so as to not violate the Brown Act. The subcommittee is tasked to work for a period of up to 1 year and dissolve upon submitting a report to the CSC.
and you see,
We can talk about that.
we're gonna be on a subcommittee that we don't report to ourselves on?
The structure is, since it's a subcommittee of the Complete Streets Commission, they would report out to the commission that they're a subcommittee of.
And the exact same sentence applies to us, no?
It's not a subcommittee of the Environmental Quality Commission, so I do believe there would be Brown Act issues. Yeah,
Oh, there it is.
yeah,
Ah.
so we're kind of,
Well, can we report out anyway? Is there a ban on the report coming to us? So we can hear?
Attend the.
yeah, I think that'd be the best.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
And then duration, we kind of have 1 year and then kind of to be determined on the report out. I think that's up to six members.
So just before we kind of go back through these, I just wanted to, we probably have enough subcommittees for the year, but a couple sort of topics that aren't being covered that have sort of come up in past conversations here is sort of the embodied emissions concept, and I wasn't sure, I know that Commissioner Hills had a lot of interest in that. I don't know if it's a subcommittee we want to form, if we have the bandwidth and the time allotment to do it, or if it's maybe something to think about for next fiscal year. But I just wanted to throw that out there. And then any sort of subcommittee around the environmental justice element, I kind of looked to staff to suggest, is that something the EQC might want to focus on this fiscal year? Are there areas where you think we could add value? Is it better off being handled next year? Because this year's full. Just wanted to throw those two. Transportation was the other one, but we now have something about that, so I'm not as. I'm not glad we have that. So again, I don't want to like overfill our calendar, but I just wanted to throw out a couple other ideas.
As far as the greenhouse gas protocol includes embodied emissions, so that would be included in the work on.
Okay, great.
Emissions.
And I think the food one falls under EJ.
Okay,
Yeah, and then there's the outreach one too, I would hope would incorporate an analysis on the EJ, and so maybe there's an opportunity to add that to the scope. And then the same with the matching rebate one. And there will be a lot of staff presentations related to the EJ where the EQC will provide feedback and recommendations on progress on different EJ program areas.
okay. And then during the year, something major comes up and we think we need a subcommittee around it. Is that an option, or is that pretty much we set it now and it doesn't change for the year?
Yeah, it's an option,
Okay,
yeah. I think the preference is to really try to honor this list. It's what we kind of communicate to the public, it's what we
Mhm.
communicate to our teams internally. So it really helps us with alignment, but we can talk
Okay.
about it.
yeah, so, yeah, I'd love to hear from the commission on interest in these subcommittees.
I'm volunteer for the VMT subcommittee if that forms.
I would too.
Continue on work.
Yeah. And since we're missing a commissioner, does that commissioner have an opportunity to, at some point, join subcommittees, or now or never?
I have notes on which one she would like to join.
And did she know about this BMT one?
No.
Okay.
She was interested in food systems. Commissioner Headley was interested in food systems and community engagement.
So is anyone else interested in the BMT subcommittee? Okay.
I'm looking at the building emissions reduction ordinance and seeing there's only one person on it. Do you see that as a one-person job? Or do you think it would be good if you had a companion?
More the merrier. Up to 3.
Do we want to set a, I'm sorry.
Well, I can join that rebate fund, that one day to the next month.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. It'll be short, about 2 weeks to prepare.
What are the dates on these again? Let's go back through, so. Okay, John, I'll help you on the building emissions reduction. If you tell me what BASO is,
Building emissions reduction ordinance,
wouldn't that be Barrow?
It's savings.
savings,
Uh,
building emissions savings. Thank you.
The other ones that are light, I guess I'll plug in, Commissioner Headley. The food one,
We put her BMT with a question mark, maybe?
yeah. I can ask her after.
I wouldn't, don't want to make any assumptions, but she was on the VMT subcommittee, so she might be interested.
Yeah. And she was engaged with the conversation in that last meeting.
Back to the BESO versus BERO, is BESO a standard term? Otherwise, reduction seems more descriptive than savings. Emission
Yes.
savings, what does that mean? Emission reduction is pretty clear.
Yeah, I think ultimately we can name it whatever we want, but that is what they named it at Berkeley. And
Okay.
Berkeley passed it this year, so it's sort
Yeah.
of looking ordinance as a model.
It's actually, now that you mention it, Brian, that savings is actually a pretty smart word to put in it, because it's, oh yeah, savings. Good, reduction, I don't know, doing less, I don't know.
Okay.
It's really like at that time of sale ordinance structure.
Mm.
Requiring certain level of efficiency upgrades, during a transaction, a home sale transaction.
Yeah, and if you'll all recall, I think as a commission, we recommended that the city look at this after local amendments were made to the state code. So this is sort of that next step.
Yeah, I'm interested in joining that one. There's the real spot.
Great. We completed the task.
Yeah, awesome. And so then going back up to the goals, this won't be in red in the work plan.
Oh, right, the red part, let's chop that down, since we've got it all nicely tucked into our. Maybe we could say, you know, act with CSC on EMT metric. Something like that. And then we can remove the legalese.
Rachel, you were saying though that only that first page will be seen by the council, so we have to give them
Oh, okay,
plenty of info.
oh, okay. Can we say, you know, CSC work plan for details?
Yeah, that'd be good.
So we could say support CSC subcommittee?
Providing alternate language here. A couple options. Any preference?
On those three.
Mhm.
Well, I think the beginning you mentioned about sort of a collaboration of coming up with that language that was in the plan, so I would defer to that language. Since it's been sort of vetted and worked on already, but I don't feel strongly that, way. So if someone else wants to change language, we can do that, but I'm fine with what you drafted originally.
Okay, what we could do is. We could pick one of those simplified ones, if we're able to do the simplified one, we can use that one, if not, we can go for the full legalese.
Great, yeah.
Okay. That sound good?
And yeah, I like the second one.
Okay,
if we're gonna. Shorten it.
and I know the Complete Streets Commission already approved their work plan. So this might, it might have to live in our work plan just because we are coming second,
Yeah,
but. To be determined on which clause we use.
Oh, so they approved theirs without that.
Yeah,
I see.
so they have to do some admin backtracking.
Okay.
We have good impeccable timing. Okay, so we could hear a motion if there's no more discussion.
I had a couple more things in my notes.
Okay.
The calendar, April 2026, discuss progress on cap number 6. Just a question for you, just wonder on this. Potential subcommittee was formed and then postponed. Do we need to think about that at all as it relates to that item, like? Once we get that progress report, would that be a time to form the subcommittee?
Yeah.
So should we add that, like, and possibly form a subcommittee, or? Reform a subcommittee?
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Activate subcommittee?
Do you remember the name of it?
Resilience and adaptation subcommittee, I think. Okay, and then, just a thought about, the calendar and, sort of the EQC role. Would it be possible where it says provide feedback to staff, also add, so instead of just saying provide feedback to staff, say / possible action by commission, so that if the commission wants to make an action or formal recommendation based on that discussion, we have that flexibility to do so.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
If other commissioners are open to that.
Great. So yeah, wherever it says provide feedback to staff, also say / possible action by commission.
Let's see if I can do this in real time. Just a minute. Okay. Then isn't there a way to replace all?
Cool.
Well. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. in the admin side of things.
And then just a cleanup item, our work plan at the bottom has potential topics to add. Should we remove items that have been added already,
Yes,
like community engagement?
yes.
It looks like we might have community solar and microgrid as a double.
There we go.
Great. That's all that I have. Any other comments, thoughts, questions? Great, so Zoom, anyone want to make a motion to approve the work plan?
I move to approve the work plan.
I second.
Who got in first?
Bill and Jill. You'd be good on Jeopardy.
We have a motion from Commissioner Hill and a second from Commissioner Angel to approve the fiscal year 2025-2026 agenda calendar and work plan. We'll do our roll call voting. Starting with Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Angel.
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Aye.
Chair.
Aye.
Oh. 1 second. Okay, Commissioner Kissel.
Aye.
Okay, And the motion passes with 6 in favor and 1 absent.
Okay. Good. All right, thanks for everyone's work on that. We'll move on to item D3. Review and discuss the 2024-2025 Climate Action Plan Progress Report. And our staff will make a presentation.
Thank you, Chair. Okay. This is a little wonky because we have to keep our commissioner on the screen here, so let me know if things are kind of hard to read. And I don't know, maybe Liz, you could share the presentation for yours, just because I have to, or you could plug in to the monitor.
The time check, we have an hour left, right?
Yeah. Just so we can keep Commissioner Kizel on the screen. So while Liz was pulling that up to share, I'll get us started. So each year we have the opportunity to reflect back on our climate action plan progress. And look at our most recent inventory as well as our different activities. And see, how well we're meeting our goals, or we're kind of, staying on track with what's in the city council work plan. And it's a great tool to keep us accountable and ultimately, recalibrate what we're gonna be doing the next year and get feedback from the EQC on that. So this year, we'll be sharing our progress report to city council at their next meeting on August 26th. That meeting will also have the EQC chair presentation and a number of other related items to sustainability. So encourage you all to attend, and I'll send the agenda when that's available. Awesome. Okay. Next slide. So in background more broadly on the climate action plan, since it's kind of been an iterative process. In fiscal year 23-24, the Environmental Quality Commission spent time providing recommendations on potential ideas to implement each of the CAP strategies, which we'll get into. Really zeroing in on the 25 to 2030 timeframe, our kind of 5-year window to meet our carbon neutrality goal. And so none of the goals were updated, but really looking at the strategies and the practical things we could do in our community to achieve our big goal. So City Council approved the updated scope of work in August of 2024, and that's posted on our website, and I have a printed copy in the room if you're interested in looking at in that document. Last year's progress report was made to City Council on August 13th, presenting greenhouse gas emission data from 2021. And this year we'll be presenting on August 26th, presenting inventory data from 2023, as well as municipal operations data from 2024. And so we're typically a year or two behind because it takes time for PG&E data and other data to be available and for us to do the analysis on it. Next slide. So the climate action plan has 6 strategies, which this commission has had the opportunity to make subcommittees on and work really closely within. And I'll, define each of these as we go through our progress on them. So for the interest of time, we can skip this slide and go to the next one. Okay, and as I mentioned, the CAP does have one broad goal of carbon neutrality. And that's defined as reducing our 2005 baseline emissions by 90%, and then eliminating the remaining 10% through direct carbon removal measures. So in 2005, our greenhouse gas emissions totaled 350,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Next slide. And this is rendering a little small, but it's in the packet and will be emailed, after the meeting. If you're interested, shows, kind of our baseline year, 2005. And then it shows kind of our second most recent inventory from 2021. And then our 2023 inventory. And so you can see the slight reduction there. Not substantial, as you can really tell, so it's really, like 6,000 metric tons reduced when we're looking to reduce, upwards of 200,000.
The dash line is what?
That dash line, I believe, is our business as usual line, so if we weren't to take any climate actions, based on like the regionally integrated climate action planning suite. Oh, no, sorry, that's our 1990 baseline. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one. We have another one that shows our trend line if we don't act and do anything, and it's a much slower curve down. But yeah, sorry, that's our 1990 baseline. And that's an extrapolated number. We didn't do like a citywide inventory for that. Next slide. Okay. So in 2023, our community greenhouse gas emissions, as we know, our biggest sectors were on-road transportation and building energy, followed by our off-road equipment, so think about like construction equipment, leaf blowers, that sort of thing. And then solid waste and the energy used in our wastewater system and in our water system. Next slide. Okay, so starting off with CAP strategy number 1, exploring policy and program options to convert 95% of existing buildings to all electric by 2030. So this year, we had a lot of activities. In 2022, the city council prioritized this strategy, and so it felt like a lot of work that was kind of in planning mode was actualized here. We adopted pre-wiring requirements for existing buildings in January of 2025 and conducted community engagement on local building code amendments that were more expansive. We expanded our home upgrade services program and have completed 11 home electrification projects in Bellhaven through that program, and we're excited to be able to launch our renter electrification kit and to adopt and implement local building code amendments that will further encourage electrification at the time of remodel or at the time of installing a home cooling system, as well as expanding our pre-wiring requirements for gas appliances used outdoors. Next slide. So our CAP number 2, to set the citywide goal for increasing EVs and decreasing gasoline sales. It's companion number 3 of expanding access to EV charging for multifamily and commercial properties. We've continued to promote Peninsula Clean Energy, PG&E, and other agencies, incentives and rebates to property owners. You'll see in that picture there, that's an example of a level 1 charger that PCE installs at multifamily complexes. And in fact, through that program, 149 outlets have been installed, 102 of which are at multifamily. The remaining would be at like commercial or workplaces. And so some of the strategies we've worked with them on is our social media and our digest. And we look forward to sending branded letters and hosting a workshop for multifamily property owners with them.
And the level 1, that's the one where it takes about like 20 hours to charge a car.
Yeah, it's overnight, yeah. Okay, CAP number 4, which we recently had the chance to dive in, to reduce vehicle miles traveled by 25% or an amount recommended by the Complete Streets Commission. The Public Works team completed bicycle infrastructure improvements on Valparaiso Avenue and upgraded existing bike lanes on Willow Road. They completed a shuttle study to identify opportunities to optimize local shuttle routes, and they're anticipating completion of the construction of the Middle Ave Complete Streets project, which is taking, the pilot measures that are currently out there and making them permanent. And there's a picture of that intersection. Next slide. And then we have CAP number 5, where we've had a lot of exciting activity, trying to demonstrate that, all electric is possible through our work at our own facilities. we completed our 2024 greenhouse gas emissions inventory for municipal operations. And here we had a really big decline of 23% since 2019. Mostly because of our Belhaven Community Campus here, as well as our efforts to replace water heaters across city facilities through PG&E's K government and K through 12 program. So that's a picture of the new heat pump water heaters at the Burgess Pool Showers. And we've also initiated work on our Belhaven Child Development Center, securing funds to electrify that facility. And we've selected a contractor to complete that design work, which we're, hoping to complete by the end of the year. Just the design part, the actual install will be closer towards the end of next year. We also have been installing solar across our city facilities. We're just wrapping up at the Menlo Park Library, and we'll be installing at the Arriaga Family Gymnasium starting next week, which will be then followed by City Hall, where there'll be the addition of new carports at City Hall along Laurel, as well as the Belhaven Child Development Center. And we completed the re-roofing for many of those facilities too. So our last one, cap number 6, develop a climate adaptation plan to protect the community from sea level rise and flooding. The city, in partnership with other cities and One Shoreline, submitted Senate Bill 1 funding through Caltrans to develop a regional climate adaptation plan. And then we're anticipating, actually getting started on that plan once if we're awarded funding. And we're also looking forward to planting trees in Belhaven and issuing a request for proposals to develop an urban forest management plan. It's just a picture of our public works team planting with, I believe, the Scouts at a Menlo Park location earlier this year. And then in the annual Arbus report, you've heard all the other great work that we've made towards the canopy and the trees. Next slide. And so that's the end of kind of the super high level. In your packet, there was an attachment that included, specific updates on each of the CAP actions. And so, I'd be happy to dive into any of those. And I didn't want to dive too much into the inventory because I know we're gonna have the subcommittee roll up their sleeves into there, but also happy to bring up kind of our full inventory and discuss anything there. But generally speaking, just kind of wanting to hear, there was something that you worked on with the city that you wanted to see elevated. If there was, kind of something missing that we, could be focusing on or should be focusing on, or anything else that stood out from the staff report or presentation. And then this isn't an action item, so it can simply be informational and discussion. But yeah, we can move into clarifying questions and then public comment, if that makes sense.
Perfect, yeah, thank you for the presentation. Are there any clarifying questions from EQC before we take public comment? Okay. Ms. Wander, do we have any public comment on this item?
Let me open up public comment for item D3, review and discuss the 2024-2025 climate action plan progress report. We have public comment cards on that table over there. If you'd like to grab one and return it to Liz or I. If you're calling in, you can press *9 and we can unmute you. And if you're on Zoom, you can hit the raise hand button and we can allow you to speak. So I don't see any hands online or cards in the room. So I think we can close public comment on item D3 and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you. So we can open it up now for EQC discussion.
Thank you very much for the report. Some of those projects, as a whole, are so great to see, and some of them individually are so impressive, as a city that we've done them. I would be very proud if I were you.
But one thing that struck me as impressive was just the quantity and the quality of the outreach that the city has done. That was a long list and you know, a full calendar of outreach, so thank you for all that work.
Oh, yeah, and it's noted that, yeah, Liz maintains that calendar for us and is the brainpower behind our strategy there, And I'd also be remiss in saying that too, Ori's kind of our brainpower behind CAP 5. And so, yeah, we do have, yeah, our roles and division within the team. But, the outreach is just kind of related to the CAP. It doesn't include like our Zelly or other sustainability related outreach too. But yeah, if there's any kind of events that you see that aren't captured on it that we could be at, or any other strategies, we'd be open to.
I just had some questions, maybe you don't have answers to, but, for app one, and this may be a topic for another time, but in the renters, pack, electrification kits, I can't remember, did we discuss including like an induction hob and a pot and a pan? We did talk about that?
Yes. The hob, maybe not the pot and the pan, so I'll note that down tonight.
Okay, and, my thought on that, I can't recall our exact discussion about it, but not necessarily like automatically include that, but provide it as an option to the renter, so that we're not providing things that they're not gonna use, but give them the option if they are interested in trying out induction cooking.
Yeah, and that came up with the Bellhaven Community Development Fund, Juanita Croft, she mentioned that, she preferred to think of these as like bundles, so folks can pick, and they're not just delivered a big tote of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. And I was just curious, like, after the child development center's done, the renter kits, the potential matching rebates, the potential solar battery work, do we know how much would be left of the 4.5 at that point, after all that work? Like, was there an estimated amount remaining?
Yeah, so, if we, are successful in electrifying the up to 100 homes, plus all those projects, we would spend down our dollars. However, it's unclear, like, if we'll get the program uptake, so we're certainly looking at other strategies that we can at least, have in our back pocket. And the home upgrade report out on August 26th, we'll have a little bit more details on that.
Great.
Yeah, but if you have ideas on how we could further support electrification in Bellhaven or across the Menlo Park community with those dollars, I think September we'll have an opportunity to get feedback.
Yeah, I was just curious, after we do the development center and after the city does the development center and passes out renter kits, like, how many homes like can still be
100.
electrified? 100?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. There's some other things I thought were exciting, the dashboard, the continued efforts with permit streamlining. I'm curious a little bit more about the on-site energy generation in the Bayfront, like. What is it, what's that about, and is it not happening yet, and what needs to happen for it to start happening?
Which
One of the, it might have been under. 1.7. On-site energy generation, completed cost effectiveness study to activate Bayfront zoning.
yeah, so there was zoning updates made. That actually impacts the energy code, and so a cost effectiveness study in that process needs to be completed. Honestly, that one hasn't been discussed at length with staff this year, so that's something we could elevate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just something I wasn't really familiar with, so I was curious.
Yeah, it was one of those, we had a really great policy idea, it was codified within our zoning, and then the final steps of, doing the analysis and doing the state paperwork didn't happen. And that was from, I think, quite a few years ago. I think that project started like around when Meta was coming to Menlo Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the online electrification education hub. Sounds like there's an ongoing work on that and just curious if you ever need EQC input on that, or if we provided it and I've forgotten. And just curious, like, what is like the traffic that webpage gets? Like, does it get a lot of hits or do we know?
Let's add that to the work plan if it's not already on there. I might have snuck it on there because that is an area where we would like EQC support.
Okay.
And I was kind of hoping that the engagement and outreach one might
Yeah,
dive into that.
okay,
Yep. April 2026.
Yeah.
Is when we have it agendized. So we'll present,
so the dashboard is different than the online electrification education hub?
oh, you're right, they are two different. Yeah, so the dashboard would be more to share our emission inventory and our progress there, and of course, there'd be calls to action and helping folks, see what they can do. But the electrification hub would be like all of the different resources for
Yeah.
rebates and technical assistance.
Okay,
Yeah, so right now we have it in a kind of very text heavy way, and so I'm thinking about ways we can kind of improve the navigation of it. And just make sure more people are clicking it, but I don't have the metrics off the top of my head for hits.
yeah, I just think that could be a really helpful resource for community members and. If there's an opportunity for EQC to add value in the creation or modification of that, let us know and.
Definitely.
And how do we get more people curious about that process and
Mhm.
wanting to explore how they do it? Question on the Arriaga Recreation Center electrification project.
Mhm.
Is that gonna be a fully electrified building when it's all said and done, or what does that project entail?
The ARC project,
Arc, yes,
yeah, it will be, yeah, so we're electrifying the kitchen and electrifying the HVAC and the water heaters have been replaced.
right?
Yeah,
It's exciting.
yeah,
What's the expected completion date?
I would have to check with our CIP team on that one.
And then also just curious about the status of the Burgess pool heaters electrification. That's something that we think will get done in the next 5 years. I've asked it before, I think that was the response that. And. But you don't need to answer now, I was just curious, or he probably knows.
Yeah, so that one, we have spent a lot of time this year kind of evaluating different incentive programs. And even kind of costing it out with the available technologies, looks to be like a $6 to $7 million project. And so that's where we need to kind of. Pause and look at more closely with our CIP team and our city manager on different options. So we have that sort of scoped and just need to kind of continue the conversation.
But
But yeah, it is in the CIP for the next fiscal year, and it says like $6 million or something. But usually, high ticket items, we have a lot more scoping before bringing it to city council.
yeah, I know it's expensive, but it's also a large emitter,
Yes,
municipal inventory, so.
Speaking of,
Go ahead.
no, you, please.
Oh, I just have one last question on the 2.29 million from NTC for EV charging projects. Are those just on municipal properties, or is that money being used to put chargers in like public spaces, like downtown, or like, I'm just curious where that money's gone?
yeah, some of the chargers will be on parking lot 7 and 8.
Okay.
That'll happen during the repaving. And then the remaining will be at City Hall. And there's even one at the courtyard.
Great.
So for a mix of fleet and public charging.
Those are my comments, but yeah, impressive set of actions in progress that you're gonna be able to report on.
The building emissions. Do we have a notion of what percentage of buildings in the city now are all electric?
No.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting too, should a subcommittee find that information.
That could come up in the building emissions reduction subcommittee conversations.
Yes. Yeah, and I'd be happy to share where we got stuck, where we hit a wall in our research.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
so attempts were made.
Attempts were made.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
can't imagine we'll come up with anything better than what you did.
Any other conversation on this? Anything else you need from us?
No, I actually, I think have a lot to bring back. To the commission, thinking about, specifically around the pool, getting you more details, and then around the electrification hub. I don't see it well reflected in the calendar, so I think adding that, where we can maybe present some of the content and format ideas, and get feedback from commissioners on that would be super helpful.
Okay,
If that's of interest to the commission,
definitely.
kind of dig into the
For me,
web.
yeah.
Okay. Great. And that one's also a part of our city council's work plan, so I know that they've prioritized seeing an improved website, and so we would really like to deliver on that this year.
There's no chance that the website and online work of the city are, being done with sustainability in mind, right? That hasn't really hit the.
Right, that hasn't hit the collective
We'll
conscious.
get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I still need to make that connection too with our public engagement manager.
Yes, we love that, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. We can move on to agenda item E, reports and announcements. We have any reports or announcements from staff or commissioners? I just had one thing I read recently that Samtrans is investing in their charging infrastructure, which I thought was really exciting, and they're planning to be 100% zero emissions by 2040, their entire fleet, so. I was biking here behind a bus and appreciate when that bus is electric.
You know, the CEO of Samtrans came and spoke at the League of Women Voters All County Day. And she was saying about how they're under mandate by state law to go all electric. And that they had it all sort of lamped out and then it may not happen. So they really want to have it happen, but if all the federal dollars are gone. So that was a really big question. They were feeling pretty anxious about that.
Someone else will be charged by 2040. Any other comments, reports or announcements from anyone?
I didn't have time to think of all the extra announcements.
That's fine.
The August 26th meeting will be action packed. We'll have the second reading of the ordinance. It's on consent, so you're welcome to attend, but your support isn't needed necessarily. And then we'll have our home upgrade monthly report along with our climate action plan report, and then our chair's presentation. So actually, there is a good reason to attend and support. And so, yeah, there's great content there. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. It was great to have our meeting here again at the Bellhaven Community Campus, and this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, John.
And let me, and